Hi, I'm Chris McCoy. Welcome to Memphis Flyer Podcast. Every week we jump here on YouTube and tell you what's going on in the city and what we got in the newspaper. Today, I have a very special guest on the podcast, Benny Elbows. Benny here holds the world record for the longest stand-up set, which just happened at the High Tone a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah. April 20th. It seems like only yesterday or several years ago. April 25th and 26th. And I think one of the news outlets qualified it with seemingly. I have seemingly broke the record. That's because we still got to get all the evidence together. Guinness, they want to make sure everything's fair.
Mhm.
So they want all the video. We have independent witnesses. I had to go. It can't be anyone I know or related to. So I went out and got independent witnesses. We got to make sure we get all their statements, their logbook. We got to get all the evidence together and send it to them. So they got to verify it.
Right.
And then in the meantime, this is crazy story. Like the day after, like I'm waking up, from doing this 40-hour monstrosity of a comedy set. And I notice I have like a new Instagram follower. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I look at it. It's like, oh, he's a comedian. Oh, that's cool. And he's from Nigeria. Oh, and he says he's a world record holder. I wonder what record he holds. And then I start looking through his video, and there's video of him breaking the 60-hour mark. So,
Oh, no.
yeah, like
Oh,
literally, I wish maybe I would have done some more research, but I don't know what I would have done. I wasn't going to do 60 hours. I know
Yeah.
that. So
Well-
we'll see. I mean, we got to, Skinny was very nice. Skinny at the High Tone.
Mhm.
He had me printed up my own separate High Tone world record plaque. So I officially have the High Tone world record for my longest stand-up set by an individual.
And also, we checked this. There was a social media kerfluffle.
Oh, there was.
After that, the Guinness recognizes 40 hours and like what you were talking, like 40 hours and 6 minutes. I think
40 hours, 8 minutes.
8 minutes, and you
I
made
think
it.
David Scott.
And you made it to 40 hours and 16 minutes, right?
I think we're going to 15 because at the end I think there was a lot of crying.
Yeah.
I don't know if Guinness would count that, but I know we got to 40 hours 15, and that was the goal. That's what I wanted.
Well, it's
to
funny. It was funny. You were crying, but it was funny.
Yeah.
There
was. I just got done telling a story about how I had been shot and trying to make that funny, and then there's immediately like confetti cannons making loud noises.
That was a good bit, though.
Yeah, it was. I wish they would have warned me, but it was a good bit.
Your getting shot routine was funny.
Thank you. It's something that I've like iterated on a lot, and of course, like I was in the hospital for a couple weeks. I didn't have anything, so I was like writing down everything that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I can't lose this. And then I always had a thought that like I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna turn it into like a one-man show, and I may still do. I'm like, and I got to a point where I'm like, it's now or never. Like you can't wait. You like now is the opportunity to do it. Like whatever art you have inside of you, don't wait for the opportune time. Get it out there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly. Because waiting for the opportune time that's your brain lying to you.
Yeah,
that's your brain
exactly
trying not to do all that work because your brain is lazy.
Yeah,
doesn't want to work.
That's it. And that's exactly it. Like I've someone I've always been giving myself like excuses to fail or to lose, and maybe that's this. Like I decided to record a comedy album 39 hours in. Like
you broke that brain down.
Yeah. So I mean maybe even that I was like, you know what, if this thing isn't good, I can just blame it on that. But I'm very proud of it. Like if I had to come out with like one album my entire life, I think this would be it. I think it's something special.
I was there from like hour 30 to 32, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, 33, because I have a picture of you with 33 on the clock. There was like a big timer like next to him while he was doing
Guinness rules. You have to have a clock in frame of the video the entire time. So
and he and What were we talking about? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're saying
lost it.
you were there from hour like 32 to.
See, you were more coherent in that time than I am right here. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've only had one cup of coffee, people. But yeah, you were surprisingly coherent. And then at the end, we watched the stream. My wife and I watched the stream, and you were talking about earlier, trying like maybe taking the last hour and making that a record. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I just would not be there at that point. But when we were talking though, okay, so one of the deals, you didn't just do stand up like the whole time, right?
Right. Well, I would argue that stand up is a very broad term. And so Guinness doesn't disqualify me. I would say that I did stand up the entire time.
You did stand up the entire time,
yes.
but
you hear that? He said it. You can't.
You did stand up the entire time.
You can't say I didn't.
Well, I'll tell you. No, I'll tell you what he did. You did stand up most of the time, and then you would take questions from the audience.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crowd work, like an institution of stand up comedy, and even more popular now than ever. Yeah.
And wasn't that like the whole last of Lenny Bruce's career? Like that was
good point. Good point.
Doing crowd work and just yelling at people. But you were not yelling at people. You were answering questions, and I'll tell you, I had some questions for you because I was like, I got to help Benny.
Yeah, right? and I just want to say you're absolutely right. In the lowest moments when I was most tired, most brain dead, couldn't think of a word, literally just having to tell myself say something out loud because you can't go a minute without saying something. Right, that's one of their rules. So like where I'm just like say something. So many people in Memphis came out and supported in such a major way. Like I feel so loved and so supported. And this silly thing I decided to do, and having so many people support me, come out and write, basically fuel me. Like those cards and suggestions and questions and audience interactions were what carried me for a good part of it. Yeah.
So I asked you some questions.
You did, yeah.
One of the questions
I don't remember them.
Well, I do, because I'm going to ask it again.
Oh, okay.
Because you were great. It was a really good answer. So I did like 6 or 7 questions. Honestly, I wish I'd filmed it. But
we got it. We got it on film. We can find it.
If you can find it.
We can do a compare and contrast.
Well, the question that I loved so much that you answered was if you could have sex with any Dungeons and Dragons monster.
Oh, yeah.
Which Dungeons and Dragons monster would you have sex with?
I answered that?
You did. You did. It was a great answer. Do you remember what it was?
I think it was the Invisible Stalker.
It was the Invisible Stalker.
The Invisible Stalker.
Right, which I thought was a great answer. Because here I'm just like succubus.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody wants to have sex with a succubus.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So you're, right? Yeah. I mean, like,
that'd be mine. Or like, one succubus, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. 2, sexy vampire.
Sexy vampire.
Right, everybody wants a sexy vampire up there.
Number one Halloween costume for many years. Sexy vampire.
I've been the sexy vampire.
Sexy mimic.
Sexy mimic.
Sexy werewolf.
Yeah. The mimic's gonna have a bad end. But the Invisible Stalker, though, I mean, that reveals some psychology right there.
I remember like we'll get into it a little bit. I won't. People are already kind of like, okay, Dungeon's dead. But anyway. I remember like the 2nd edition monster manual flipping through, like they have all these like hand-drawn intricate pictures, and you get to Invisible Stalker and it's just like a blank.
It's just a blank. Where the illustration's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's stuck with me. So that's probably where. Yeah. Invisible Stalker would be good. I think I would never thought vampire.
Sexy vampire, like that's part of it, like that's part of the whole vampire mythos.
It is.
And
Yeah.
And then the other thing I asked you that we went on about for a long time was you have a single-use time machine. You only get to go back one time.
Oh boy, yeah.
And come back. And what do you do with it? And you just went for killing Hitler.
I think I went for some other things. Of course, there's a lot of things to consider, like the whole. How does time work? Is it Doctor Who? Is it Back to the Future rules?
I said Back to the Future rules.
Oh yeah, that's Back to the Future rules.
So you return to the timeline that you have altered.
That's right, because I remember saying like, "Well, screw y'all, I'm in this timeline now.
Yeah.
Like y'all can keep that timeline. I'm in the non-Hitler timeline.
Right. Yeah.
For better or worse,
Right. Where Goebbels did it.
Yeah. Where just someone else replaced. Like
yeah.
Where all the all the nationalism and stuff was still there, and someone else just saw the opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah. But anyways, you got Hitler though.
I
That was the
did.
important
I
part.
did.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I got out of this 40 hours, it's that
I killed Hitler.
I killed him. You can't take that away from me.
Well,
not in this timeline.
No. Well, so our issue this week in the flyer is our beer guide, which we do periodically. We cover like mostly local beers.
Yeah,
like stuff.
Cerveja, if you like Portuguese.
Yes, exactly. And some people, Benny, I'll tell you, we've got criticism for these.
Really?
Issues. Yes, we have, because some people are like, well, what are you guys doing? With the front page of the paper, you guys just getting together and like drinking beer and taking pictures of it and talking about it. Like, what are you even doing? And I was like,
research.
Well, that is what we're doing. Yeah. That's exactly what we're doing. To which I say, yes, you're correct.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
Let them have some fun. Like they're covering like interesting like politics and nightlife and events and all these things.
Where are you guys when I'm doing the what's wrong with the MPD story?
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like, look at that.
Which you're also drinking beer during that.
Right. Yeah. I deserve a beer. I deserve a beer for the what's wrong with the MPD stories. Okay. And so do we. But most importantly, it's actually, one, we're covering a local industry, capitalism. Two, we're telling you, like, we're trying the weird beers so you don't have to.
There you go.
Okay. It's what we do. I mean, I go to the movies for a living, so.
The parallels are there, like someone to filter out, like find someone you can trust who has your similar taste.
Right.
See what they think. Let that, you only got so many hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's what my philosophy is when I'm doing a film review, too, is like, and what you should do is find a film reviewer, and whether you don't have to agree with this film reviewer 100%, but you can, if you continue to read them, you get in the groove and you're like, okay, well, if they like this, I'm going to like this, or they don't like it, so I'll give it a chance because they, like you understand where they're coming from, and it gives you a perspective,
For example, to get my movie recommendations, I go on Facebook and I see what everyone else hates. And
goes to that.
And then I'm like, okay, it's cool to not like this thing. I got to see what it is, And then it's like, oh, well, that's fine. Like, that was fun. Like, everybody wants the next movie they see to be like an epic or, something deep and meaningful. And like, sometimes it's Venom, like sometimes it's just fun. Like,
it's hard. It's like, I walk this line all the time because it's like, I will vomit theory at you all day.
Oh yeah.
But
because you learned it.
Yeah, because I love it. I'm a filmmaker. I had some film classes. I wouldn't get a degree, but I think very deeply about it. It's my job and all. But once again, you don't have to agree with me.
Yeah.
And to me, at this point where I'm at, is like, I try to figure out what they were trying to do, what the film was trying to do, and be like, judge it on those. Like, did it succeed at what it's trying to do?
Yeah.
Because I will go and see sometimes, like, there's a bunch of genres that I don't care for personally. I'm not a big Western fan, for example. But if I go to a Western, I've got to be like, okay, is this a well-executed Western?
Right.
If you like Westerns, will you like this?
Yeah, I think that's something that, like, I had to try to learn over time, is that every movie has its own criteria. Because it's got, like, the director's criteria, what they're trying to do, the genre's criteria of like what it fits in or what it subverts.
Right. What are the fans of the genre expecting?
Yes.
Yeah. That kind of thing. Which of course brings us to Thunderbolts, which I reviewed this week.
I haven't seen it, so we had a choice. Me and my fiance, we had a choice this past weekend, and we decided to watch The Accountant and then The Accountant 2. So Thunderbolts is on the horizon. We've seen every Marvel. We're going to see this.
Well, how was The Accountant? I haven't seen that. The Accountant 2.
Honestly, there was like a lot of levity and comedy in it. At times, they almost turned it into kind of like not a buddy cop, but a buddy crime fighting. Like, there's a lot of levity, a lot of stuff played for gags. My fiance's review is not enough accounting.
Yeah. Well, there you
There's not one depreciation schedule that we saw
go.
at all. I think he makes a few accounting jokes, but aside from that,
So he needs to use his accounting powers to save
mhm.
the day.
And there's that in the first one.
Hmm.
But we're kind of looking at this like maybe they're going the Fast and Furious route. Like this is going to be so disconnected from
Right. He'll be accounting in space
in
by episode 5 or something like that.
He's like, we don't have enough inventory for
Can we survive the trip?
We don't have enough O2 inventory to get home.
An audit.
I know. That's what I want to see. I want to see the accountant and Apollo 13. That's put them together.
Right.
That's the next one.
Which could have been Hidden Figures. Don't get me started. I got a big thing about Hidden Figures. Do you remember Hidden Figures?
No, I don't think so.
It was about it was a Taraji P. Henson movie, and it was about the women who were hired as computers in the pre-digital era
Oh yeah.
for the space program.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
This is like coming back to me now. Yeah.
but they were to me, the problem was that they like the end just like ripped off the beginning, or ripped off the end of The Right Stuff. The Right Stuff.
That's also a space movie.
It's also space movie. The Right Stuff. It was The Right Stuff, except that the people who were supposed to be our heroes were like standing in the back of the room watching the right stuff people do right stuff, which is not what happened at all. Like John Glenn was like, I'm not flying until these ladies you tell me that this trajectory is safe, I'll fly it. But he didn't trust anybody except for them.
Oh, really?
And then they ended up ended up calculating the return trajectory for Apollo 13. That's high drama. And everything. And like it went all the way into they continued to work all the way into the shuttle era. So it's like there was much more story there than could have, rather than just like let's rip off The Right Stuff. But I guess not many people have seen The Right Stuff now.
Well, I mean, like I've heard of it. It's a classic.
It is a classic.
I've heard it's one of those things I've heard more people like riff on. Like I think in Armageddon or something, there's like a joke about like talking about the wrong stuff, that kind of thing.
Armageddon's garbage, by the way. It's one of my all-time. I hate Michael Bay. I hate Michael Bay with a passion so deep.
Wait, even the line where the guy's like, "Who brings a gun in space?" Did it get you?
No, because people have been bringing guns in space since they've been going into space.
That's true.
That's
true.
Anyways, Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. I will say this. I'm going to say about Thunderbolts because I'm completely sick of the Marvel movies.
I don't want to say I am, but I have decreasing enthusiasm for everyone that comes out.
Well, Florence Pugh carries this movie with her outrageously bad Russian accent. I know that your fiance is Russian.
Yeah, yeah. So we're a big fan. Early on I showed her Rounders, and I was like, it's like, okay, you gotta hear this Russian accent from John Malkovich.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought it was. We have a sense of humor about it now.
And David Harbour from Stranger Things is Red Guardian.
Yeah.
And he also has an outrageous Russian accent. Basically, the whole rest of the movie fell flat for me, except every time that one of those that they were on screen doing their bad Russian accents, I was like, I'm there for it, because it's like a Clooney and Oh Brother Where Art Thou thing. The accent is so bad that it transcends. Like it turns the aesthetic corner and becomes good.
Wait, time out. Are you saying Clooney had a bad accent in Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
That's what I'm saying.
A geographical anomaly. So you sold me. They're getting my $20 for Thunderbolts.
Honestly, I wasn't praying for death an hour in.
Yeah.
So that's as good as it gets for me with the Marvel movies.
I have either a blessing or a curse, where if I go to a movie theater and I invest time, something in my brain is just like, enjoy this. Like I would be a terrible critic, because I'd be like, yeah, I liked it. Like it's binary. It's like, did I was this worth my time and money to go see it in a theater or not?
Mhm.
And most of the time, if it's in the theater, yeah. There's some things on Netflix or whatever that I'm like, eh. But I think like
If
in
you've already made the decision
yeah,
and paid the money to go to the theater, right?
in two instances I can remember where I went to the theater and I was like, this wasn't worth it. And one was The Hills Have Eyes because
Yeah.
it was kind of
Like that remake?
no, I think it was the
It was the
original
original?
one. Yeah, because I was like in high school or college.
Oh, yeah, that was the
And
original.
I just don't like horror movies, and that was a friend's suggestion.
Well, have you seen Sinners?
Sinners. I keep wanting to.
Yeah, you really need to.
I got to because
That's the good.
I saw that tweet where someone's like yeah, it flopped, it bombed, and they compared it next to like some established IP that they're
No, it didn't
oh, they
bomb.
compared it to Minecraft movie. I'm like, what do you like?
And that pisses me off. You know what else pisses me off?
What's
is
that?
people talking about how is comparing current box office numbers to 2019. 2019
Oh,
was Avengers Endgame, which was the biggest single day in the entire history
right.
of the
Yeah.
medium. They made $300 million in a day.
It'd be like every movie, like it didn't do Titanic numbers, and you're like,
No, so what? What
like
kind of business are you in?
it didn't hit 800 home runs this year. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I know.
it's
It's ridiculous. And also honestly, as an audience, because what I do, what the film critic does to do, I think my job is a consumer advocate.
okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, if you read my reviews, you're going to be like, do I want to go see this movie or do I not want to go see this movie?
That's
have
it.
to answer that I have to answer that for you by the end of the
That's a good goal.
even if I don't like it.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like it, you need to know if you need to see this movie or not.
I think that takes a lot of empathy, being able to step out of yourself and put yourself into various people's shoes. Like, okay, I'm looking at this from a child's eyes, or I'm looking at this from a family's eyes. I'm looking at this from
And I don't succeed
Yeah.
a lot of times. I'd be honest with that, but it's fun though. It's a really interesting job. I don't, especially because I love film so much, and so I'm cool with it. But anyways, Thunderbolts, yeah. I mean, so once again, I didn't necessarily enjoy it, but I was like, you should see it. So see, this is the in action. This is the dynamic in action.
This is, I mean, I think this is the ideal way this should go. If only you could be good friends with every single person who reads your reviews, and then there'd be no problem, right?
Well, it depends on how many people are reading my reviews. I love you, listener. I love you. You are my friend, and you should return every week here on Memphis Flyer Podcast to see what we're doing. Benny, what you got coming up? Are you gonna try this again anytime soon?
So,
or maybe just do like a regular set. Maybe just a regular set. Just try it, see how it feels.
yeah, so there's a lot of work coming out, but if you're always interested, you can follow me on my social medias. I think probably the big one is Instagram, Benny_elbows. I started on Blue Sky, and I'm going to try to be more active on that.
Yeah,
and
I know.
then
It's like taking up smoking again.
Yeah.
I know
but it's a different cigarette, and you gotta learn how to smoke it over again. And also all the
it is a better. I mean, it's the American spirit of social media, honestly. But I went like when Elon trashed Twitter.
Yeah,
I honestly was like, well, I feel like Elon must help me quit smoking.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now here we are. Just drag you back in.
And I feel like this attempt has reinvigorated me. It makes me want to do more with stand up. So I imagine there's going to be some stuff on the horizon. Like I said, I want to do an album. We got to get that mastered and everything, but I'd like to have pre-sales of that pretty soon. So if you're interested in what I'm doing, the social medias, I try to share it. I'm still small enough of an entertainer that you can just be friends with me on Facebook. So I don't even have a page. It's just me on Facebook.
Benny Elbows.
Yeah. BennyElbows.
And I'll link to your various accounts on the YouTube page. You can check that out.
Oh, I guess also they're going to be trying to upload the 40 hour 15 minutes of the world record to YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. They're having difficulties now, but basically
Did it-
YouTube's like, this is too much. You can't.
It's too
There's
40
too much.
hours.
This is too much of whatever this is.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy, that's what it is.
Too much. Too much. Too much stand-up comedy with Benny. There, look, we just named your record.
Yeah, too much stand-up comedy.
Too much stand-up comedy. We'll see you next week here on Memphis Flyer Podcast. Good night.
Bye.